Are you looking for a gift that feels thoughtful and not just another bouquet of flowers? If so, then stick around because I have a craft for you. It is so simple. It's a self-drying clay heart with pressed flowers. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in.
Hey friends, welcome to Twirl Craft Studio, where we turn everyday things into, oh wow, did you make that? Grab your crafting supplies, maybe a snack, and let's make something beautiful together.
A round mold is what we're using today. This one's a nice soft one. It's actually a pot holder. And then of course something to roll out the clay. After you finish rolling out the clay, it's time to set the mold. I found this. Sometimes you could even just use a piece of cardboard and cut out a heart. I just have this, so I'm going to use it. And we're just going to press it into our clay like this. In fact, using a piece of cardboard might even be better because this is going to be tricky to get out of the mold. Pulling it out. Oh, it came out rather easy this time. That's awesome. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to pull away the excess. Awesome. Okay, and then just take a moment to smooth out any edges here. You can use a little bit of water to do that, and also in the end anyway, we'll be using sandpaper to smooth it all out. This heart turned out rather well. And we're on to the next step. All I'm going to do is on the bottom half of this, I'm going to put a pattern. It's going to be a little bit lopsided, probably like that. And then I'm just pressing down on the heart, just the parts. And sometimes you have to push down a little bit hard just to make sure you get the impression. Good. And I think that's it. Once you lift up, it's hard to put it back down. So you just want to make sure everything's been pushed down right now. Okay, now I'm going to lift it up. Nice and gentle. I'm just going to look to make sure. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, that looks great. And then one last step before we leave it for 3 days and let it dry. We just are going to put a hole in the top so that we can hang it. So I'm just grabbing something I can use to put a hole. Perfect. And there it is. See when it's dry. The hardest part about this craft is the weight. Now that it's dry, I am just going to do a light sanding around the edges just to make it nice and smooth. There we go. If you were to cut a little closer, it would have been fine, but I left some on. This side's actually a lot better, nice and smooth. This one went a little wonky here, so I'm just shaping it again. There we go. Perfect. Normally I would use my flower press, which I got on Amazon. I will link it below if anybody wants one. But at the moment, we're not in a season for flowers outside. So I bought these dried pressed flowers already pressed, which is awesome, from Amazon. I'll also link that below if you are interested. But my last craft, I used up most of the colorful flowers. So today I'm just going to be left with a few more white flowers. I got some pops of color here. And oh, that's actually really nice. These blue ones are really nice. I might cut off the stems. I'm just going to take a minute to arrange to see what I like before I seal them in. When choosing the flowers, as I am not sealing them in with resin, I'm just using Mod Podge. I want really flat flowers. So for example, the ones that have more petals and have bumps and don't, this one wouldn't work as well for my heart. So I'm looking for ones that are super flat. Like I said, I'm usually all about color, like full-on color, but because I've already used the colorful flowers, this one was a little hard for me to decide on where to go. And I think I've got the design, so I'm just going to start arranging them. I'm actually just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on at a time so that it doesn't all dry out, and then I'll place the flower where I put the Mod Podge. That way it doesn't dry out. Oops. Well, I'm gonna have to move this over to the side, I think. Oh, nope, got it. Okay, awesome. My first flower is placed. And now I'm going on to my next one. There we go. Oops, adding my next flower. And wherever it lands, that's where it's going. Okay, perfect. More Mod Podge down. You can have a lot of fun with this because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a little bit spontaneous. Though I did have some of this stuff planned, it's still spontaneous. Oops, there we go. More Mod Podge needed because I didn't put enough on that part. Okay, adding a little pop of color here. It's very pastel colors. Excellent. Doing the next one. Oh, needs more Mod Podge. In the last craft, if you watched it, my beautiful flower bowl, I accidentally put the Mod Podge like too much on, and so I had to move it all around, and then it dried before I got all the flowers on, so I had to reapply. So this time I'm doing it this way to see if it works better. Perfect. Putting this one on right here. Oh, it's looking so good. Okay, I have one more flower, and then I'm going to put in the small little ones just to fill some spaces. Okay, my last big flower. Oh, they're a little difficult sometimes because they're so flat. Excellent. Now, instead of using the stems, I actually decided to just use them as single flowers just to put around. So that's what I'm going to do now. Picking them where they may land. Oops, well, I guess that's going there. Okay, another one. Excellent. And what colors would you use if you could do this? For Valentine's Day, I'd probably use brighter reds and purples, but this is going to be super pretty as well. We're almost done. There we go. Okay, now that I've placed all the flowers, I'm not going to put Mod Podge over it yet, and I'm going to actually spray it. But first, there's a line around here, and I want to add some color to make it pop. But lately, I have been starting with really light colors and then changing my mind after I place them. This time, I'm going to start with a very bright pink. Let's see, I might have to tone it down, but we'll start with this first. So this line, I'm just going to paint. I'm not usually a bright pink person. And we'll put on a couple of coats, and then maybe I'll put some accents around it to lighten it up. What color would you use? I mean, with this combination, I guess you could use white. You could use a light pale pink. My motto is go bold or go home, and that doesn't always work out. But I love bold colors. Okay. So far, I like it. So now that it is dry, I'm going to add some finishing touches. If you don't have already these dotted tools, I think they're called dotting tools, I can link below. They're intimidating at first. They take some practice, but once you get a hang of it, they really add that special touch to your craft. So I recommend if you're new at it, like I am, test it out on a piece of paper first just to make sure your dots are the size you want and you're consistent. So that looks pretty good. I'm ready. And I'm just doing big dots first all around. Like that. Oh, this is going to look so good. And then I'm going to do little dots in between. There we go. I can't wait till spring comes and I can try these techniques more with beautiful flowers or weeds that I find outside. But for now, this is what I have. Okay, the little dots go between. Oh yeah. And if you don't have a dotting tool, you can also use paint markers. And that's what I used to use as paint markers. And I love them because I'm not a huge painter. But I finally figured this technique out, and it's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. Okay, normally when I seal in stuff, I just use the regular shiny Mod Podge. But because these flowers are so delicate, and I've tried it before, it's really hard when you use this. Sometimes the petals will come off. So I also discovered this, which I think is awesome. It's a Mod Podge clay pot sealer. Of course, I have to do this outside. I'm not going to take you there with me. Two things that I love about this. One, it'll seal this in nicely. And I've noticed that it darkens the color of this clay, which I also love. So stand by and we will be back for the final reveal. Okay, and now that it is dry, we're on to the finishing touches. You can absolutely just do a very simple rope through the hole and hang it like that. But if you've watched all my previous shows, you'll know that I really like doing copper accents. So that's what I'm going to do today. And if it doesn't look good, well then I will go back to just using string. So first I'm going to feed it through the back. And I'm going to fold it upright, being very careful as to not crack the ceramic. And then I'm going to do a small spiral in the front just to hold it in place and to have it look nice. And I'm going to use my finger because this one isn't that thick. It's a thinner wire. Well, not that thin. Okay, perfect. Bending it back, then cutting the opposite side and just making a loop so that I can add the spiral on top. We're going to put the loop forward. I'm not going to close the loop yet. And then we're going to be working with a thicker wire. This one's actually a 10 gauge. And I'm going to use my bigger pliers and just do a spiral. This takes some practice, but it sure elevates your craft. Okay, I'm just using up all the copper wire I have here. And yep. And then I'm going to do a little loop at the bottom to hook. Just like that. Putting it through. Perfect. And then I'm closing both. And there you have it. What do you think? Should I use the copper wire, or do you think would you prefer to use just the string? Let me know in the comments below.
And here she is, my finished heart wall hanging. I love how the soft clay, pressed florals, and copper details all come together to create something that feels cozy.
Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.